Can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
time for the In the Queue podcast with DJ Greggy C, Greg Curran, and David Hanscom. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube Live. Just search for In the Queue podcast or go to inthequeuepodcast.com. Please like our show and share this broadcast to show your support and pass on the good karma to help educate everyone how to be the best entertainer they can be. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and get notified when we go live, which is every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And now, let's hear it for DJ Greggy C. and David Hanscom.
Here we go. What's up, man?
What's up? How are you?
Well, we're learning as we go. They have all these new little tricks and things you can do with this app, right? So now you just don't have to worry about unmuting yourself. It just unmutes you whenever the video's over.
I just noticed that. I was like, oh, I forgot to unmute my. No, that's great. Melon. Yeah. Shout out to, is it MELON?
MELON, Melon.
Melon app. Shout out the Melon app. Yeah, they seem to be coming through. How are you, bro?
I'm good.
All right, good, man. Another busy weekend. This is May 14th coming up Saturday. And on the East Coast, this is it. May, June, July, August, September, and October are our busy season. I'm working all weekend, and it's all mobile stuff, no club work. I got Millie and the boys covering the clubs. But this is it, man. Crunch time. This is what we do. This is what we work for. So I bet the same for you. I mean, you're busy as hell anyway, right?
Yeah. I mean, I wish I could say anything different, but you're right. I mean, just going crazy and working all the time. I don't even think there's a slow season anymore. I've decided that there's just not a slow season anymore.
Look, one of the benefits, if you want to say, of COVID, it changed. It seems to change our industry that way. And what I mean was, like, we used to have May, June, September, and October. Well, because on the East Coast, July and August this summer, it really just pushed that all together. Now it's May, literally mid-April through the end of October and even into November, because the foliage, once again, on the East Coast, and this is for photography, videography, DJ, for mobile work, et cetera, et cetera. So that said, enough's enough. Speaking of, exciting times, exciting things, we've been talking about it almost every show. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I want the boys to know that are sitting in the green room. They can hear the show, by the way. When you sit in the green room, do we funnel them to that, or do we funnel the music that you make on your violin? I don't know.
No, I'm pretty sure they can hear us.
All right, they can hear us.
Give us a thumbs up in the green room if you can hear us, because we can see them.
Oh,
yep,
you can?
Yep, they definitely can. So I can see them, and they just gave me the thumbs up. So whatever you were about to say bad, don't say it now.
No, it's really, really cool, and I noticed it. Why? I noticed it while we were watching the previews, and I didn't know if they saw the previews or not. That when you said, "Hey, Greg, let's put together a cool little video," that 5-minute countdown. I said, "Dave, I want you to send me pictures," and we put them in. Most all of mine, if you pick them out, and you look very, very, very closely, I would say 80% of all of my pictures on that opening are all from the DJ Expo that we're going to start to discuss. That's the first thing, because we've also discussed the DJ Expo for the past year, since it ended at the last one.
Mm-hmm.
And the seminar and education and and what does almost every guest say? That networking and the value of education, just like Chase. What's up? Shout out to Chase Jewell from ProMobileDJ.com. Speaking of friends in the industry, so Chase, this is the show that we want you to put all over Pro Mobile DJ, my friend. All right, please help pimp it for us.
Hey, so real quick, before we get too further past what you were saying,
please.
You mentioned about your photos, and you said look very, very, very close. Mm-hmm. I'm curious, like 3 varies. How much closer are 3 varies than 1 vary? Like if you look very close versus very, very, very close, like what's the parameter there?
See, if you only look very close one time, you're just going to say, "Oh, he's an ugly dude." But if you look very, very, very close, you're going to see the background and like, "Oh my goodness, that's Eden Lounge in Atlantic City," or "Oh my God, look at the similarities of all these guys." They're all wearing Peavy shirts, and it's at a Peavy production that's at the Expo. Or hey, I remember that. I went to that special event at the Expo. And the very, very, very means I want you to look at it like it's an investigation. You know what I mean? Because there's a reason we do this. It's like a subliminal advertising to me with the education, you know, with the school, with what you and I do, the questions we answer, the people that follow us, the people that hit us via email and call us. You know, I mean, I still have Andrew, if Andrew's around, you know, the questions that he gives me, you know, daily to help me. This is what we do. This is what it's all about. But the culmination of all of this is the DJ Expo. And we've said it, God, for the past year. And we've also, you know, talked about it time and time again with others and the value of it. Well, tonight we've got the president, CEO of Hazan Media Group. What does that mean to everybody? Hazan Media Group is the president, CEO of the new owners of not only DJ Times Magazine, which has been rebranded to DJ Life Magazine, but also what was called the International DJ Expo, which is now DJX. Especially if you went last year, they started the branding last year, which I think is just awesome and fabulous. And the whole, you know, I read it, or they were talking about it on their website. I went to the DJ Times website, which has totally changed. I encourage everybody to go there and check out how different it actually is. But I have to stop because I don't want to go on. I can be excited and ramble on and on and on. But the two gentlemen,
not you, man, you don't do that. I
don't ramble. But besides Shawn, also we have Jim Tremayne. Jim, look, he's the main editor. He has been for forever with these guys, you know, especially Jim in the mobile industry. It's either exciting people to have on the show. Shout out also, before I forget, to name the National Association of Mobile Entertainers, because, you know, without them and their hookup, you know, this show wouldn't have happened. So, you know, thank you to Carl, thank you to Cassie for that. And look, without that being said, I mean, I kind of gave them both the biggest write-up you could. Am I correct?
You did pretty well. Yeah. Just a couple little housekeeping notes I definitely want to share. Number one, for those of you that are watching live right now, please feel free to drop some comments and let us know who's watching. I saw Chase did earlier, but I haven't seen anybody else yet drop any comments. So feel free to do that, guys. Also, scrolling right above our head up there is our text club. If you'd like to join that, we won't spam you or anything crazy like that, but we definitely do our best to try to let you know when a show is happening or not happening, or, you know, so on and so forth. So please feel free to join our text club. It's free to join and fun to be a part of. Every once in a while, I might, you know, drop some craziness in there for you when you least expect it. And last but not least, little fun fact here. I know, Greg, you might not even know this, but
yes, sir.
The DJ Expo is actually one of the first stages I ever did a presentation on way back in the early 2000s. So there's that.
Ooh, very cool. I also wanted to make sure, and please, if you could put them up and check out the private chat, the two websites that if you're watching the show that I really, really, really want you to check out, because that's where I went, and I kind of always go anyway, just to get my updates. DJLifeMag.com. There you go. Thank you, David. And also DJXShow.com. All right. These are the biggies. These are what you want to follow. And on there, you'll find, you know, you register. I think we have till June 15th, if I'm not mistaken. We will ask the gentleman. So, you know what? Why don't we just bring these guys in? I mean, we have, and I'll say it again, the president and CEO of Hazan Media Group. They took over for Testa Communications. And they're rebranding DJ Expo to DJX. They're rebranding DJ Times Magazine to DJ Life. And along with him is their chief editor-in-chief, Jim Tremayne. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you would please, a nice roaring round of applause for our guest this evening.
Oh, hang on. I'm sleeping on the job here. Here we go. There we go. Sorry, I was reading Chase's comments.
If you noticed, I went really slow because I lobbed that softball at you.
I know. I was busy reading Chase's comments, man. My bad. Chase, thank you for that. Chase was saying that we could share it on the Pro Mobile DJ Facebook page in the future. So we'll definitely do that. We didn't want to do it without your permission, but Chase, thank you. We will continue to start sharing that.
Yeah.
Hey, Sean, Jim, welcome, guys.
How you doing, fellas?
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Nice to connect with the Pennsylvania people.
Yeah, no, it's like Dave said, it's our honor to have you. There's my man Andrew. How are you, Andrew? I know you've been waiting for this show. I need to thank all of my students for coming out. They were excited for this. Whether they're watching in our live studio audience now or it's going to be after the fact, which I know there are a bunch of parents told me. I mean, I got a big class Thursday. I'm seeing 5 different people, and I'm explaining to them, look, this is the show that explains what's going to happen, because a lot of these kids come down there and they spin. They whether they go to Pioneer, they go to Reloop, wherever they go, they're checking out these things, and all of the different vendors are just so gracious, especially when the kids come out, that are learning this. But I wanted to jump into this with both of you, Shawn and Jim, and I think, Shawn, can you explain to me, because it was always the DJ Expo. Last year, I saw this really cool change, and the rebranding started with the DJX, which is great. It smacked me in the face. I'm like, nice, but what does that mean? Like, what is the meaning behind that whole logo?
Well, I guess in many ways, behind the logo. Okay.
Well, the logo and the word. And the word.
I mean, look, DJX, as X you would think stands for logo, and it's not. The letter X has so much meaning to it. Right? It's about empowerment. It's about multiplication. X marks the spot. You find the treasure. It tends to magnify the things that are around them. It's collaborative. 2 times 2 equals, right? And so it's a powerful concept. When you look at that historically, these are understood ways of using the letter X. But look closer. I heard you said before, very, very, very closer, by the way. If you look closer, you'll find that the X also has 4 quadrants. And all those quadrants, in our eyes, look at the 4 different pillars or communities that exist within the environment we create. And it's bringing some balance to that and having an inclusive community, which I think is where it all starts, at the DJ Expo or DJX.
Wow. All right. Look, I love the whole rebranding, and I've told them before, please not only go to the sites, but check out the videos they have up. And I think, right, our whole life is based on X, and I love the analogy that you said. X marks the spot, or I mean, a lot of the things that we see that are big, that are life, even in Marvel, the X-Men. And it's everything, the 4 corners. You could go on and on, but this industry, it's exciting. And I think I said it to you guys in the green room, and I want to show this video. But before I do, I remember all these years, and every year it's the same. And I've had people and students tell me that the coolest thing is that they've been waiting in the anticipation for before the doors open on day 1. The minute they walk in with the lights, the sounds, just all of the different stimuli that they get, it's almost like this is the most awesome place to be right now.
Yeah, if you're a DJ, I mean, really, there is no other show floor like it. And I'll just mention the dates, if you don't mind. It's
please.
It's August 8 to 11 at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City, New Jersey. So yeah, this is the 37th show we've done since 1990. The rebrand is an exciting time. Hopefully you'll be able to put the video up to give an illustration of what we're working on. But we also greatly appreciate all the attendees and all the attention we've been getting. We're really thrilled to bring back the show, and we think it's going to be the best one ever.
Okay. And I have to really applaud you guys on the way you reach out to all the different aspects, and when I show the video, people will understand the club DJs, the turntablists, the mobile DJs, the bedroom DJs. I mean, it fired me up when I saw
jocks. All of it.
Not to give away any spoilers here, but the way you embrace that and why I led up to this, because I need to send a shout out not only to the Senate DJs and the hundreds of guys that are around the country that are not only embracing DJX, the culture, the networking, and all of that, but sharing the love by sharing this, and our vision and your vision, but also the guys at Fleet DJs. There's another group, Supreme DJs. Yep. There's so many different DJ groups, and you know how I met them, gentlemen?
At the Expo.
DJ Expo. Yep. And you even quoted me, and I saw it on Instagram, and you tagged me. And if you don't know, you did. Bravo to your marketing department. It said, you know, it talked all about networking. And I've been quoted in saying I come out. Why? Because it's about me networking with all of my friends and business associates. But really, the quote it is, they say, Greg, why do you go? Because I can hang with my homies. I haven't seen them all year.
Yeah.
You know, if I could add to that, one of the things I noticed at the show last year, which we were running the show, right? We had COVID, you had Delta driving up around that time. You know, one of the moves, and we'll get into it, I hope, at the Hard Rock was developing a safe and sound policy that is far above industry standards. I've been in the event, large scale and small events around the world for 30 years. And one of the we weren't going to run an event without having above the water level policies around safety. First and foremost, but we also weren't going to run a show. We were going to run a show no matter what, unless the government told us not to. And we had to work with the state of New Jersey, the building, who's a great partner at the Hard Rock with us, in developing not just the sounds, the safe and sound policies that they've created, and we've worked with on the event level, but also as it relates to, you know, what the laws were. Is it an indoor-outdoor show? Is there going to be a capacity maximum? Do we extend the amount of days? And I had to come up with a lot of different versions of what it could look like. My point being, unless we're told not to, we were running the show because we knew the community that comes needs it. And one thing I noticed at the show, more than anything, was that sense of community. And you say homies, most of what I heard was brothers and sisters along the way. But the truth is that getting together after whatever isolation people have been through, or the uncertainty, and events are very similar the way that you guys run your businesses, about getting together and and we weren't looking at no as an answer, you know, so we're glad that we were able to run it off and dance between the raindrops and do what we were able to do out there. But we're excited that we ran a good show, and it's about community.
It's exactly about community, you know, and once again, I keep applauding you guys for that. You know, one of the reasons I was with a company called the Pros back in the day for 4 years, and you know, one of the old owners, to be nameless, I was one of the executives at the time. I had another gentleman who was an executive at the time, and I kept my mouth shut. But the other gentleman, to be named nameless, literally left the company over DJ Expo at the time, because there was an argument stating that the owner said, "Oh, I don't think it's a great idea for the guys to go down there." Like, are you kidding me? You own a DJ company, a mobile DJ company at that, and you're thinking it's not a good idea to bring people out. That became a pushing point to a factor like, are you kidding me? Now, mind you, the man never DJ'd a day in his life, you know? So
we had heard these stories. Yeah.
He left it to his executives to do that. And you know what? I kept my mouth shut. I was a nice guy. I'm going to be very professional at this. And I said, then you know what? Guess what? I normally would only go down for the day, which was the last day, so I could stay over for the night. I didn't have much money when I was younger, you know, so I'd stay at the $30 hotel, go to the Expo, have a good time, and get the bargains on the last day. As I got older, though, I just take the whole week as a vacation, because
the whole thing about the show is that it's about inspiration and education. And we did that story you tell is something I had heard more than once from some of the larger Northeastern mobile DJ companies. A lot of them didn't necessarily want their DJs going down there and gaining a ton of information and getting wizened to the larger picture of the show. But we think, you know, we've provided a service over the years. You know, the networking is enormous and huge, but it also, the whole idea of inspiration and education is huge, because I love to, you know, I put together all these seminars, and I love to have guys and gals on the seminars who say, you know, I was in the audience at this show 5 years ago, and now here I am imparting my information. So that's a big part of what we do. We want people to be inspired. We want people to go back to their markets fired up about their job and this industry.
Nice. Well, you know what? I think it's time. I got to show this video because when Shawn said, in the green room, have you guys seen the video? I said, I saw the recap. He said, and you guys just put this new one out. So yeah, this is it's called Why the DJX. And if you all bear with me, I'm going to play it up for you. Okay.
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Hold on.
While you're getting that set up, man, you guys had mentioned the first Expo was 1990, 37 years ago. That's so crazy because
32 years, yeah, but
like that's when I graduated high school.
You're making me feel old.
Wow, I feel so old, man. Jesus.
Yeah, the first one was at Resorts, Merv Griffin's Resorts. Yeah, it was a crazy time. I mean, the magazine, the DJ Times, had just started. That started in late 1988. I joined the magazine in August of 90, and the first DJ Expo was, I believe, in November of 90. So, there was a lot of learning. There was a big curve for me. I had just moved up from Georgia to the Northeast, which is a very different environment. And I got an education in a hurry. And the way I did it was talking to people and listening. I did a lot of listening that first year.
All right, gentlemen, let's see if this works, okay?
Yep. Get that shared up on the screen. There we go. Yep.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Let's see if it works.
That's awesome. Did you hear that? Did that work?
Yeah, that's solid. That sounded great. Looked great. Sounded great.
Oh, that's awesome. I just love it. Yeah, and I said it before. When you get that feeling, whoa, is that me? Whoa.
I don't know what's going on. What are you doing over there?
There we go. The next video was playing.
Oh, gotcha.
No, it gives me that feeling. It makes the hairs on your arms stand up. I love that music. Great job.
Yeah. No, we appreciate it. It takes a lot of work, and we have a good team. And, we've been really busting it to put on the best show that we can this year. We're going to have a lot of really exciting announcements coming in the short term. Some really exciting things that we can't quite mention yet, but stay tuned. Within the next week or so, we'll have a couple of things that we think is going to get some attention, not just from DJs, but to fans of DJs and beyond. So we're very excited about that.
All right. Fabulous. Hey, any small little spoiler alerts you can give to anybody that happens to be listening to this?
Spoiler alert. You mean you want me to dish on something new?
Yeah, just one little tiny thing that might be coming. That's all. I mean,
I can tell you this. We are working with a promoter in Atlantic City who's bringing in some really, really big DJs the weekend before DJ Expo and running into DJ Expo on Monday. In fact, they're some of the biggest DJs in the world. So we are going to be partnering with them to some degree, and their closing party is going to be our opening party. And we will give you the details. There's some P's and Q's and, I's to dot and that kind of thing. But we're going to be very excited. It's going to be some of the biggest DJs. One of the multiple winners of America's Best DJ will be at the show. And stay tuned. I mean, we will announce it as soon as we can. But that's one of the different things about this show. It's going to have a slightly different look, a slightly different feel. Sean, who has like 3 decades of experience putting on fashion shows and shows for all kinds of markets. He can give you a better idea of that. I'm more of the nuts and bolts guy. I put together the seminars. I put together some of the evening events. So, I'm very busy doing that. Shawn is very much the vision guy in terms of how he wants things to look and feel. And I'll pass it over to Shawn and let him get people fired up about this year's show.
Yeah. So, thanks, Jim. If you look at it, guys, and you said it before, Greg, when you walked in, it's that feeling when you walk in the floor, right? And that impact moment. And, we've had 30 odd years of doing and holding a legacy in so many ways. And Jim has been a part of that from its beginning, as you guys have. And so it's about the evolution. And I think one of the things an event is responsible for, whether it's providing a level of leadership and helping an industry kind of navigate obstacles, we were talking about COVID earlier, or if it's about being a magnifying glass to the industry it represents. You can't really make change without hearing what's going on. And so Jim's first year has really been my last 18 months of, getting an understanding of what's going on behind the scenes. And then obviously from the last show, when you walked in right off the bat, we moved to the Hard Rock. Right now, in part, it's because of this concept of going back to the boardwalk, which is what has been said a lot of times. But if you look at the Hard Rock, aside from safety and the issues around that, and the safe and sound policies, it also has some of the best audio visual capabilities that you could see or find in the city. We moved from a convention center in the past to ballrooms. We're in a full-on arena, and so last year before we had the show, the Counting Crows actually had to clip their session and their show the night before because we needed the stage the next morning, and there was an operations and logistics thing. When you came in also, you noticed a lot less vinyl banners on the floor. We went digital and LED. And so I think we have to reflect, and it's our responsibility to reflect, what's going on culturally, which is, lifestyle events should be doing, but also to really stay with the times. So it's not about changing from DJ Expo. It will always be the DJ Expo. If you look at it, you have 3 major components. You have the show floor, you have education, and then you have our After Dark series. And so one of the things that debate that we gave you, Greg, before when you asked for it with right. Is about, enhancing all 3 aspects. And you're definitely going to see an After Dark experience like you've not seen before.
All right.
Come in.
All right. So the After Dark. Oh, that's exciting. Well, and the after parties and the after dark stuff, that is another exciting part. And a lot of people, look forward to that. But yeah, this is that. Look, that's
so go to the human side, right? And that's what I think is the most beautiful thing about this community and watching it the way that I saw the last show and the way that the DJ community gets together, right? And that cohesiveness and the passion. It's unbelievable. And yeah, Jim mentioned before this Fashion Week. We leveraged everything we could as part of Fashion Weeks that we ran around the world. And yet Atlantic City's DJ Expo, the viral videos that come out of it, the recording, the things that are done from it, guys are strapped in with GoPros and everything in between. You don't do that from tech knowledge. You do that out of love. And so one of the things that we did this year, that we started to last year a little bit, but you're going to find on the show floor, it's going to be more community space. So it's not just walk the floor, you go to education, grab a slice of pizza, or go to the boardwalk, grab a drink, and then head upstairs to an event at the nightclub. It's really going to be about making that community ability to talk, to navigate, to learn, to educate one another, just to have conversation. One of the things that we need to do is to have that experience on the floor. So you're going to see more community opportunities on the floor for to engage in. Last year we had Tribe, which was a great little, AR VR experience. But we're, aside from working with the brands that participate and helping them become more experiential, we'd like to see seating and more availability for you guys to sit and relax and to get a sense of it. Part of that is also, maybe lowering the volume a little bit. So we are conscientious of being able to do music and have the energy that we want, but be able to encourage the industry to communicate, right? Again, back to community. So all of that is about the opportunity to learn from each other as well.
And additionally, when it comes to paying attention to this industry, the show has to evolve just like the industry itself evolves. And as everybody knows, DJs are like really fast adapters. They're, somebody who DJs look for angles and opportunities and ways to make, lemonade out of lemons. Mm-hmm. And so, for example, when we first came out of COVID and we did our show in 2021, really the biggest news in the entire DJ industry was streaming. And what we've seen in the years since then is even more of that, but even more content creation to push your own brand and flex your own business. There are sponsorships to be had. There's a slew of different opportunities that are out there, and it's not just for mobile and club. It can be for anybody. People who are just starting. I mean, I know people who stream who were relatively unknown quantities before they got started streaming, and now they are known, and they're making a living to some degree doing this. So the seminars this year are going to evolve, and they are also going to have a big. It's going to reflect what's going on in the industry, and hopefully we, have gotten the thought leaders and the practitioners and the real pros on our seminars and in our keynotes. And we're really excited about that. What we've always done is we want to have a mix of education and topics as they relate to mobiles, clubs, studio jocks, and we divide it up. We apportion it in a way that we believe everybody can get something from it. And then we also have keynotes. Over the years, we've had, everybody from Little John to Grandmaster Flash, Jam Master Jay, you name it. It's funny, before we sat down to do this, I just jotted down about 20 names off the top of my head. And I couldn't believe I got to interview some of these guys. But it's been a real thrill to do it. But even more so, it's a thrill to see the inspiration that the DJs in the audience have when they get to meet their heroes.
Yeah. It's kind of cool to bring that element to it. I remember one year Ted DiBiase was there, I think. And
different show.
Yeah, it was. Oh, it was a different show. That's right.
Yeah, we don't bring professional wrestlers usually.
My bad. You're right. Well,
I think Hulk Hogan came one year though. I think his daughter was performing at the promo only party. So the Hulkster was in the house. Yep.
That's a crazy dude too. I could tell you some stories about him.
And big. Yes. But we're looking to evolve and expand, and we have the DJs. Hopefully we have the DJs careers in mind when we do our presentations. We really want people to leave the show and go back to their market, completely enriched by what they got in Atlantic City.
Yeah, I think you guys do a great job of combining that kind of technical side of things as far as, DJ skills and so on and so forth, but also sort of the business side or even the kind of personal development, professional development side of things as well.
We've tried. I mean, like I said, I've worked on Brian O'Connor and I have worked on, I think he came on in 91, but I've been at every show. I've worked on every show since 1990. And, I've learned, I think, how to put on a convention and to put on forums where people are talking. I also, I've been to a gazillion music trade shows over the years, and I've borrowed from the best of them, and I've learned from some of the things that they do wrong to not do at our show. So whether it's the Amsterdam Dance Event, the Billboard Dance Summit, Winter Music Conference, Canadian Music Week, NAMM, in any of them, I even borrowed some ideas from a show I went to in Argentina one time. So if you see something, it's imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. And so sometimes you have to borrow some ideas because if they work, they work. And that's how we put DJ Expo together.
Yeah.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Nice. Do you used to have it at the Atlantic City Convention Center for a while?
We had a couple of them there. The last time we were there was more of a matter of the Taj was undergoing some renovation, shall we say? So we didn't really have any other place we could have done it that particular year. The convention center is utilitarian. It certainly served a purpose. But it's not on the boardwalk. we listened to our audience, and our audience really, really wanted to go back to the boardwalk. And we were very fortunate to work with Hard Rock, because, Hard Rock, it's essentially the same. It's a renovated building that we had used before. It was the Taj Mahal.
Right.
And so, I can walk through that place blindfolded. I mean, believe me, I know that building all too well, but it is so much more tricked out. It is so much of a better experience than it ever was, I believe. Oh,
awesome. All right. Yeah, no, well, that was my question. I mean, and I'm glad you said that you listened to the people, because it was just one of my concerns. I'm like, it's a nice big area, and was it larger? Yeah, it was larger, but there was something about not being near the boardwalk that just took away from the show, because all the other years of being right on the boardwalk and being able to walk up and down, I don't know, it was just, it was a little bit different. That's all.
Yeah, it wasn't really near anything except the Sheridan, But yeah, the boardwalk works. I mean, we've done several shows at several properties on the boardwalk and off, and we can say that the Hard Rock is easily the best venue that we've done DJ Expo.
I also think that people who attended the Expo probably are the pioneers of the rickshaw races on the boardwalk down there too.
Yeah, a lot of flavor.
We participated in quite a few of those.
Right, and it's just a walk down to the Irish pub. I noticed, Greg, in your pictures there. Yes. At the beginning, you had something at the courtyard at the Irish pub, and a lot of pictures from DJ Expo, including some pictures of some sadly departed people. So it definitely took me back. I noticed you had Biz Marquis and Ray Martinez in there. Yes. So it took me back, but there's a lot to do down on the boardwalk. I mean, there's a lot of history there. There's a lot of fun. There's rides, everything you can imagine. It's there for you.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Speaking of Raymar,
not just on the boardwalk, on the beach, which is the Hard Rock the Beach Club, right? And so a beach bar. So we'll look to access that as well along the way, and hopefully working to finalize a couple of tips to expand it outside on a nice night. So
cool. No, that's look fabulous. And anything that we do, I'll be letting you know via email as we grow, because we're gonna have a couple things that go on with Senate guys. So hopefully we can all work together as one big happy little family with that.
Right. And that's what it's about. And we're looking forward to having Greg do his seminar. One of the other things about the show is that, yes, we have sort of upper level education seminars for pros, people who've been in the business a long time, but we also want to sort of replenish the industry and keep it going. So we have some beginner oriented sessions, one of which Greg is going to helm that week. And so we have Greg doing one, and Vernique Fields, I think, is doing another one.
Yep.
And it's going to be very beginner oriented, but you got to start somewhere. And I keep going back to the same term, but inspiration is a big part of it. And we really want to get people started in this industry and carry them through. And if they want to make a career out of it, we believe ours is the show where you can gain the most information and the most inspiration.
Excellent. All right. Yeah. And shout out to Vernique. And isn't Big Daddy doing a seminar this year as well?
He is. Yes. He's one of the many. We do 30 seminars over the space of 4 days. And there's 3 days of exhibits, the Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But the show does start on Monday. And Monday is a very sort of mobile oriented track of seminars. Okay. And we get a good turnout on Monday. And we're going to have a really exciting Monday kickoff party as well.
Fabulous. Yeah, I just wanted to, shout out to them, because besides David, who needs to come down, if you came down, you'd join up with my seminar there, and then we'd have 3 out of the 4 board members.
Well, I'm making every effort to do that for sure.
That would be. I would love to hang out and party with you guys, and I can't wait to shake Jim and Sean's hands instead of this whole Zoom thing. I really, because that's where the energy is. That's where, we could feel each other's energy. I'm a big believer in that. And I'm a big believer in that with education, especially education for entertainers, which is the theme to our show.
Yeah.
I mean, literally.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing like meeting people in person. I mean, I've done a lot of these virtual shows as well, and you do the best you can with them. You connect with people the best you can, but there's always everybody has these stories of these haphazard moments where they ran into somebody important who maybe changed their lives or helped their career or gave them some inspiration to do something or gave them an idea to take back to their market. And it could be in the men's room. It could be, watching Scribble. It could be anywhere. And I've had those moments as well at DJ Expo and other conventions. But, you got to be in it to win it. You got to be there and participate, even if it's just for one day. You can't be shy. If you find somebody that you want to get some information from, don't be afraid to step to them and ask questions and swap business cards.
Jim, you're absolutely right. The story that you said, changing lives, the two gentlemen are in this room right now. I see them, DJ Cutlass and Stephen Corbin. Both of them are Peavy sponsored DJs, but they'll both tell you there was a year, the only year, I think I told you, Jim, out of 30 years that I never attended the Expo. My mother died. And at that point, I was contemplating whether the DJ industry was really for me anyway, whether I wanted to do it. And in working at the pros at that time, there was a conflict, and I really retired from them. I said, I'm going to take a break. And that break turned into, 3 years. And without Cutlass coming over to my house, sitting down with me, my family, and Stephen Corbin or DJ Groove, they literally said, you got to come. And it was all about the Expo. You got to come to the Expo. Was it about money? You could stay with us for free. Is it about this? You could do that. I mean, God loved them. And that's why it's another, they're part of the DJ Cafe in Philadelphia and Jersey that I ran into, but it's this network. We all go down to the Expo. They are in the pic. They're probably in a good 10% of the pictures that we see that I'm so proud of, that I show every podcast, because once again, this community, this network, this is what it's all about, and this is what where our podcast is. But point being is, thank you to Cutlass and Corbin for saying, Greg, you need to come to the Expo with us. And they talked me into it, and coming to that Expo changed my life, because what I do, I walked in just like I did every year, and I said, God, I almost threw this away.
Yeah.
I had a moment where I said, God, I almost threw this away.
Yeah, there's any number of stories like that I've heard. People who made incredible connections from somebody they met, or they got, again, a lot of ideas get passed around. Some of them are, spoken on the microphone in the keynotes, the seminars, but some of them are just when you buttonhole somebody, in the walkways, and you say, I just got to ask you this question. How do you do this? And it could be a business question. It could be a performance question. It could be anything of the sort. But the key to the Expo is that you have access to everybody for the most part. And, most DJs are not shy, but they tend to be type A personalities. And so we love to see all that interaction. We love to see that participation.
Well, you guys mentioned Raymar earlier. I was going to say this photo of me and him sits right over here above my shoulder. And he and I, that's where he and I first met. We're at the Expo, and this was, many, many years ago, and just created a friendship and a bond that I mean, I could have never expected to have. And he's a lot of the reasons, and I've said this publicly a lot, he's a lot of the reasons why I have accomplished the things I've accomplished in this industry, and continue to keep wanting to push forward with education and push forward with just reminding people that it's cool to be a DJ, but there's a whole bunch of other things that go in to what we do. And especially if you're wanting to do it as a career, and you're wanting to do it, as somebody who, can really make a difference in the world by being who you are. I mean, I think we live in a generation now where, every single kid has one of these and has never lived without one of these. And so in a way, they're their own little DJ themselves by being able to utilize that device. And, there's just so many kids out there, and I run into them all the time when I do events. Matter of fact, quick shout out to young Chance, his favorite song, Astronauts in the Ocean. So that's one of his favorite songs. And, Greg, I know you work with kids a lot as well. So it's just neat to be able to have an opportunity to really be a positive influence on, so many different people when you take the opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
and we appreciate all your participation and bringing the kids down the last couple of years. We think it was a really good experience for everyone.
yeah, and look, it's just gonna, and because of the hospitality, because of everything, the welcomeness, the warmth that you've shown, it only makes that double. Like it's you see when certain things happen, and the moms and the parents are ready to just drop everything, because, and it's not only just the kids; these are special needs kids, and that's the beauty of it, because music breaks barriers.
Right.
It really does. I mean, I have certain autistic children that can't speak, but they can communicate through music, and I can still teach them what to do and reach them through that. And it's an amazing, beautiful thing, and anybody that supports it, I cannot help but love. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, it's a cliche to say that it's a universal language, but it really is in so many ways. Whether it's used for a therapeutic nature. I mean, I've been to countries where I didn't speak the language, or they didn't speak my language, but we had a commonality that we understood the music and we appreciated the music, whether we were dancing on a dance floor or clinking drinks in the bar. It was the music that brought us together. And that could have been anywhere. And I'm a big believer in that stuff. I'm not a big kumbaya guy, but I do believe that. I really do. And I music is really what has taken me through this career. It's what got me into it in the first place. And so I'm just very fortunate that I get to live in the music industry, but I also live in a world where I can help the practitioners of this music, whether it's a DJ or an electronic musician, create music and create inspiration.
Ah, it's awesome.
Sounds of the soul.
Yes, we have our moments.
David, anything you want to ask these gentlemen, because now is the time.
Yeah, I mean, what, Shawn? I'll kick it over to you. I mean, what do you think is the future of the show, starting with this year and moving forward through the next, say, 3 to 5 years? Like, what are some things that you guys are really looking at in that perspective?
Well, I think it's enhancing all the things you've been talking about, really, is what you're talking about, right? So it's education, and the importance of education and spreading that message. I think it's about inclusivity and bringing the community together in all components and sizing, and giving them opportunities to network. We've just launched not too long ago something called DJX Talks, and that we started at the dealer level, but we've also brought in a person whose focus is going to be solely on attendance. And so the opportunity to hear what the needs are, or even the conversations or experiences that Greg have had or you've had, not just at the show, but what you're seeing in the market, and look for ways to reflect those experiences. I guess the short answer is we want a show to be not just 4 days of the year. There's 361 other ones, and we want to be a part of that experience. We definitely, this year we launched 2 new websites, and in the past we've had the show's website attached to the magazine. Now we have independent websites. We've spent a lot of time on data and looking at that to be able to provide information. So we look at ourselves as to the opportunity to give information back, and empirical as well as intuitive information from guys that have been in the industry for a long time, based on their experiences. So information is really a part of it. Helping brands evolve is something we'd like to be a part of, whether you're a multi-op or an independent DJ. Last show, we launched something called the DJ Experience, which was a branding lounge for photography and video, and gave them an opportunity to come out of the COVID experience with new content or promotion. So I think there are a lot of levels where the 2 properties in the DJ market are sibling properties, but the opportunity to disseminate messaging integrated. We have social, streaming, digital, in-person events, and it gives us an opportunity to create the messaging of the market. It's not necessarily an agenda. It's just the way industries have evolved. And I think one of the reasons I got involved in this company, and I speak to Jim about this often, and I state it a lot, is in the event world, they started with magazines and went to just events. And there are very few events out there that really have the experience and the knowledge that somebody like Jim does, or a content creation. We have so much of that. And So working on both sides of the table, right? Not just on the aisle where you have the brands, and then you have also the DJs that are attending, bringing that more to life, I see as part of our future, but also engaging the dealers in a much different way than we've been able to in the past and working with them. And so I think if you bring all the thought leaders to the party, right, you'll be able to understand maybe some of the hiccups that exist, generally speaking, on either side of that experience. And so that's why we're out there talking about it, and we're collaborating. And so, go back to the X. It's about, amplifying the power of everybody's involvement in the market. And that's what we're looking to do here.
Awesome. Well, I love that you mentioned the other 361 days, and something I might want to talk to you guys about off when we finish the live part of the show, because I think there's something brewing in my brain that I want to see what you think about, but probably should talk about that off live.
But that's really what it is, right? For us, is that Jim spent that first year hearing, and I call my time with Jim as boot camp, right? Because he just gives me an opportunity to do those things. But at the end of the day, we learn, and we continue to learn together. And I think Greg said at the beginning of the conversation, if there's one thing that came out of COVID that was good, and try to look a little broader. Hopefully there's more, but innovation is a part of that, right? Yeah. And so it's not just what it's done in technology, but what do you hear and what do you get? It's collaborative, right? And so if you're going to have a show for the industry, it's with the industry and all of it.
Yeah.
That's what we say.
Bravo, gentlemen. I can't look, I can't applaud you guys enough for all of this, the education, the networking, and keeping it going. Everybody, the big thing is, how did it look this year? It to me, it doesn't matter. It's did I get to catch up with those people that I've missed because I've been working like a dog for those 364 days or even less, because that week now has turned into a vacation. That's a learning vacation for me now. It's just so invaluable, because it's not like I'm working, even though I am, and I am tired when I come home. Believe me, I have to take a day to recover, but I have to do that from a regular vacation anyway. But it's just so vital to me and so important. And like I said earlier, and I know, Jim, you said you heard it from others about, some people thinking that the Expo is not, vital. I disagree with them totally disagree.
Well, we like to think it's vital, but
of course we do. It's not only vital, it's one of the most important things that you should do if you're going to do this, professionally, for fun, whatever. Because how are you gonna grow? Are you just going to? Right?
We feel like the best way to grow is to listen to the market, be engaged in the market, participate on all levels that we can. Fortunately, we have DJ Life magazine, website. So, we're putting up content constantly. We're putting up stories constantly, whether it's an interview with a big EDM DJ or we're interviewing a DJ who has a big mobile company, or maybe a single op who is successful. We want to tell their success stories. We want to get people inspired. We want to impart information that will help them doing what they do. So we're living this market the entire year round, and the Expo it's 4 days, and it's a hell of a 4 days, we think. But we also like to think that we prepare for the show every other day of the year, and a big part of that is putting together DJ Life Mag.
Okay. I said it before, and I want everybody to know, if they haven't checked it out and they're used to the old DJ times, you've changed this totally for the better.
Brand new site.
Yeah. Oh, I love, and I had to go on it now just to say it, but there's a music section. Guys ask me all the time about playlists, and we push Crate Hackers. Crate Hackers, they're friends of the show, and they can really help you with listings and Serato, etc. But all these guys are always Googling lists. You guys have it right there now on your site, along with so many other cool things. The tech, the tips, mobile DJ, the DJ X show is there, besides just the magazine. So I encourage people to go there and, check out your website, because you have evolved the magazine and bought it, into the new millennium past. This is something that is awesome. Now, here's one question, my last question for you guys. How many times a year is DJ Life being published as a print?
We're doing about every 7 weeks. What is it? Yeah. So, and you can get print copies. It's a digizine as it exists now, but we can print up copies as many as we want. If somebody wants to just, let's say there's a story on something you're interested in and you want to keep it, maybe it's you, maybe it's a loved one, you can order copies. It's very easy to do. There's a link for that on the djlifemag.com site.
Okay. All right. Excellent.
Reflecting the lifestyle, right? And that's what it is, through print and through living it on site of the show. And that's really about that evolution. And it's, the industry is moving in that direction.
Yep.
Excellent. All right. Well, I mean, that was my biggest question. I wanted to see, about the magazine, because that was one of the places that I would always, go for my tips when it was print. And now, really,
it's a different world now.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of speed out there. A lot of we got to get information out a hell of a lot quicker. Yeah. And also keep in mind that we're balancing putting daily information on the DJ Life site and pushing them through socials. But then we're also preparing a magazine about every 7 weeks. And it's a lot of work. But luckily, we're in a unique position because of much of our team was part of DJ Times as well and DJ Expo for 30 plus years. So we have a unique ability for access on interviews and reviews with some of the bigger manufacturers. Most of the folks know me over the years. So, luckily, we have access to a lot of that stuff. And we brought that over from the days of DJ Times.
Okay, excellent. It's unfortunate. The one night I wanted my cam to really work, that I needed it out of the past 3 years to show you these damn. I'm having them. They're like playing cards in my hands. And it goes back. I have saved it all the way back to 1998. All of my tickets. So, as a matter of fact, you know what? Somewhere in the opening act, there's me laying on the floor of the Taj with all these tickets around my head in date order.
Yeah,
there's
a lot of people who did that.
Yeah, that was one of my promo shots. I had a professional photographer literally take that down there, and it was within the past couple of years. So
within the last year, I had to go through because I had to keep some magazines and a lot of the show programs over the years.
Okay,
and it's sort of mind-boggling to go through them, and some of them you're like, okay, yeah, that's 1997, I remember that, and then there's certain things that I don't remember at all, which is scary. But we have just cranked out a lot of content. We've done a lot of shows. We've had some really memorable things happen at the show. I mean, the worst of it was we did a show in LA in 91, 92, right around the time of the LA riots. So we were out there during that, which was, there's a whole podcast for that one. And we've had weather issues. We've had all kinds of crazy stuff happen, and famous people come and moments that everybody remembers. We had Lady Gaga perform at one of the promo only parties a few years ago when she was not so big. 6 months later, she was 6 months later she was huge. I mean, we had Reel to Reel perform. I Like to Move It, which all the Madagascar kids know that song. They did it the very first time at DJ Expo. Gonna Make You Sweat by CNC Music Factory. Very first performance was at DJ Expo. So we've been very fortunate to get support from the music industry, the DJ industry, and we're looking forward to doing it for many years to come. And stay tuned. In the next week or two, we're going to have some announcements.
Okay. All right. So, all right, guys, DJXshow.com. Thank you, Dave, for putting it up there. I love it now that it's in the middle there. That really draws attention. But DJXshow.com. Do what I do. Stalk that site, because they have information as things come out. It's almost like it's newsreels on what's to come. What's the next seminar? What's the next party? What's
right, and come to our social medias. Follow us there. you'll get all the latest information that way as well. So whether it's Instagram or Facebook, or Twitter, wherever you want to go, or obviously you can visit our site as often as you like. We certainly appreciate that. But yeah, we will be pushing out weekly digital mailers with every new bit that we're ready to announce, whether it's a sponsored seminar, a seminar put on by folks like Greg, or an after dark party. Stay tuned. There's a lot coming.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent. Yeah, since it's 1990 debut DJX, that's what it says here. I was just pulling up the actual site itself. So wow. So 89 that I had was
that was a different show. No.
Really? They called it the International DJ Expo. How about that? All
right.
The
I don't know what that was, but the very first show was 1990, definitely, because
89 was probably the marketing of it.
Huh?
Could have been. Yeah, it could have been. But yeah, that first show was at Merv Griffin's Resorts, and that was kind of a mind blower for me. I learned so much about the mobile DJ industry just by talking to folks. And I still do. I mean, honestly, that's, we have to listen to what the market says and what they're attuned to. And hopefully we can reflect that at the show and in the magazine.
Okay. Excellent. Oh, it's you know what, gentlemen, I'm looking at the wrong one. 1999 there. I'm like, they get ruined because it's hard to save them as like a mint condition thing here.
I keep very little of them. The only thing I kept was the show programs. I have a stack of those. And that, that brings things back to me. But yeah, for the most part, man, when I'm done with the show and after we do all our press and promo, after party information, I'm kind of done with it for a couple of months.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
To the next one.
Yeah, exactly. We have meetings of like, what did we do right? What did we do wrong? What do we got to change? What, all of that stuff. But it's a lot, putting on trade shows. I went to journalism school, so I thought I was just going to be, a writer and an editor. I had no idea that this part of the business would morph into something so big and beneficial. And over the years, I realized that, the magazine, the website, and the trade show all work hand in hand. And at its best, it all works hand in hand. And once again, we appreciate all of the efforts that you guys do at the show, for coming to the show, but also participating in giving your time on sessions and seminars. It means a lot.
Yeah, no, look, and we've been giving you the websites all night, guys. And look, if you want some discount codes, because, Dave and I are also members of the Senate DJs, you can check out their social media channels. Check out my social media channel. I'm sure Dave's going to be posting it too. We have special codes for the full passes and for, those that don't register in time. Speaking of that, Jim, what is the deadline that they can register by?
You're asking the wrong guy.
Actually, I think it's, I know it. Go ahead.
So June 15th is what we have there in terms of the at least the exhibit floor.
Yes, sir.
Passes that are not charged after that will go up. So will the rates on all access VIP. I will say, surprisingly, last show, we peaked and had to go to another hotel for rooms. So if you are staying overnight or two, getting registered and putting yourself up on that, which you can do with the attendee link on the site, you should do. We had 11th hour scramble. So Jim's point, there's always something new and exciting that happens, but it's a lot of work. But it's a lot of really gratifying work. But get on that and get on the train, because we were surprised last year and it was, a different environment. We've got a lot of announcements coming up and it's going to bottleneck quick. So join the party before you hear the sound.
Yeah. Atlantic City's got a lot going on this summer.
For sure.
Oh yeah. Well, as a matter of fact, I think running simultaneously, and it has for the past couple of years, which was surprising to me. And I made my way out because usually I'm always, there. There was a big concert stage, the Fish come and they play either right after the expo or right before.
They will be there right before, I believe.
Wow.
And and there, as I had alluded to before, there's going to be a very, very large, I don't know if you'd call it a festival, but a lot of the biggest EDM DJs in the world are going to be playing that weekend.
Excellent.
So yeah, and then we show up on Monday, and so a lot is going to be going on. So Atlantic City is going to be hopping in August.
Excellent.
Well, you guys said you make a week out of it, so we're going to help you enjoy every day of that week.
Exactly right. I'm trying to convince Dave that, I said, Dave, we're going to get a beach house here. And, besides the beach house, we have to agree at the beach house that they let us have an after party because it can get a little crazy. So, but
it's a 24. Well, I don't know if it's still 24 hours. The last couple times I went, they shut down at like 4:00, but generally it's a 24-hour city. So be careful.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Now it's usually what is? I think it's the beach. You mentioned it before, Shawn. That beach club right outside of the Hard Rock. Isn't that where the
you have the beach? You have the beach Hard Rock Beach Bar, right? Which will be there. You have our events. Remember we had it at Dare last year. We'll have something.
Yes.
We've got a balcony out there. There isn't totally 24-hour, but the city is certainly the Irish bar is, right?
Yes.
Jim, in that regard. But what we'll be doing certainly the weekend prior, which we're a big part of that experience and bleeding it into the week, and that'll give you plenty of time to spend some time in Atlantic City at a better pace, which is important.
It's funny. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to mention, I had forgotten to mention it previously, but our Wednesday night big mobile party is going to be at the Boogie Nights Club, which is a very fun retro club at the Tropicana, I think it is. And so Jake Jacobson and Michael Leveris, who were two very talented DJs and MCs, will be putting that one on. And everybody at we did it at Boogie Nights a couple of years ago, and it was very successful. They got a great team over there, and the club is a blast. It's a whole bunch of fun. We've been there a couple of times, and Shawn and I, in the last couple of visits we had to Atlantic City. In fact, we were there recently for their 10th anniversary, the club's 10th anniversary. So if you haven't been to that club, come out on the Wednesday night. I believe it's August 10th. It'll be a whole lot of fun.
Oh, excellent.
And our friends from RCF are sponsoring that show.
That's right, RCF, exactly. New Jersey's finest.
Very cool. And see, now you're dropping the cool stuff. That's what I was saying.
We got so much on our mind. We're trying to
awesome.
get it all done. That sometimes it slips our mind. But that was something that we locked up and we're looking forward to.
Oh, very cool. All right. So there you have it, boys and girls. What we've been talking about, the culmination of, as Dave would say, the other 364 days of, actually it's less because you figure it's a 5-day week. I'm there Sunday through Thursday,
Thanks, Dave. 361.
Right. Yeah, there you go. I can't do that. Especially when I've been fighting with my webcam and when it's a successful show, gentlemen, when the people start to spam the hell out of your accounts. That's when you know that we were put on somebody's radar and they said, oh boy. So I've been controlling that, which I'll talk to you a little bit later, Dave. We got to figure one thing. I've been able to snooze people and do that. And but regardless, I can't wait. You mentioned the Irish pub. I have to say this. Back when I had no money, 28 years ago, that's where we would go to eat. You get some meat, potatoes cheaply, get some beer. And we went there so many times, they actually expanded and bought an outside. And I remember one of the bartenders said, well, because you guys would come so much, we had to expand outside because they only had a back to that place. And we went there for so many years. She would just literally reserve the whole back room for us. She knew that Peavy, that Senate DJs, that the pros people, and it was all, I used to run that thing when I literally worked at the pros. That was my thing. I get everybody together, and it was
the Irish pub is great because you can get a Guinness. It has a great jukebox, and it serves food all night. So if you want to get fish and chips or whatever, you can pop in there. And there's always people from the Expo. We'd sort of turned it into another meeting point. And so sometimes you're so busy at the show running around, you don't have time to talk.
Right.
So you pop in there. I'm sort of like the jukebox guy. So I pump in $5-10 in the jukebox and have a Guinness or two, and I catch up with people. And when I actually have time to talk, because I'm usually a little bit out of my mind on the show floor. So Irish Pub definitely is an annual visit.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you mentioning that, because that's where we would go, and it was a way for these different groups. It was a way for me to get Senate together with the pros guys, and Peavy together with Senate, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I wanted my friends that I have been networking with to meet each other. And it was
Sure.
the coolest thing, and we didn't have to do anything crazy. So
yeah, and it's right on the boardwalk.
What's that, Shawn?
All of that to come on the boardwalk.
Yeah. And look, I'm excited again this year, and I'm glad you mentioned the room thing, because the last thing I need to ask is, there's a definite you guys had a if you reserve the block of rooms, and there's a special. Do you still have that
on the website?
It's on the website.
So last year, this is the first year we actually announced the dates of the following year for 22. At the show. We'll continue to do that. The website, the block is up, and if you go on the website, you'll see that. You'll also see, as we get closer to the show, which we did last year, is we were working with the city to offer discounts at restaurants for you guys throughout the city by showing your badge on in a bunch of different establishments, certainly the Irish Bar. So we're working to understand and help those things out along the way.
Oh, Shawn, that's fabulous. See, and please put that on the site. Make that known, because look, I'm a DJ, and I know Dave's a DJ. We're idiots. No, sorry, Dave. But really, we have to be smacked in the face. It's a marketing thing. It's what we do. It's what Dave does all the time. He smacks people in the face with his social media marketing. I love it, and it's how I learn. But when I have time, but I believe too that when it's something like this kind of information that will benefit DJX, you smack the DJ's face and say, "Hey guys, you show your badge and you wear it around." It's also beautiful promotion, but please, take it
for the market, right? We understand that, and hearing and listening, and so doing that and working with the city. I don't know if last year we had all the TVs, the LED screens on 2 miles of boardwalks we put up, and so the goal is to bring attention to you guys and the impact you make on the community of Atlantic City. And in return, if we can navigate and negotiate for you guys to get something out of it, then that's part of the goal here, right? And engage the city. They should appreciate it.
I just think that's awesome. Being that guy years ago that was young and had no money, and I know there's a lot of those guys that are coming down to Atlantic City that are the same thing, their 20s, 30s.
Well, talk to us. What do you need? We'll continue to evolve the business, right? And that's what it's about. So reach out. We're accessible. And we'll keep giving Dave, the guy to slap everything and smack you in the face with it. We'll keep giving you updates as we go.
There you go.
And thank you
guys for having us.
Yep. Yeah. All right. That's it. Dave, any final questions before I pull up the outro?
I'm just excited. I'm excited about the show. I'm invigorated about the newness of what Shawn and Jim and you all are doing, and congratulate you on your efforts. And I know it will continue to flourish and continue to evolve. And it couldn't be in better hands. And tonight has definitely, proven that to me. So from our community, thank you to the both of you and your staff. I know it takes a village, so definitely to your staff as well. And I just can't wait to see. Yeah.
Thanks. August 8th to 11th. We hope to see you.
Yeah. All right. And before I do our little closing and outro, I wanted to tell the students, whether you've popped in or you're going to pop in past, these are the guys that when we go down there this year, these are some important people that you need to see, these younger guys, and you need to network with not only these gentlemen, but, all of the people at the Expo. This is it. And I'll say it again. This is your learning moment. Here's the bell. This is our learning moment. I can't be any more specific. You must go to this Expo for the educational experience, for the networking experience, and just to make yourself better in this professional industry. It's a must. All right, gentlemen.
Thank you.
See you in Atlantic City.
This concludes another amazing episode of Indie Q Podcast with Greg Curran and David Hanscom. I'd like to thank our guest, Shawn Hazan from Hazan Media Group, and Jim Tremayne, the editor-in-chief at DJ Life Magazine. Thank you for joining us. Please don't forget to like our podcast and subscribe to get notified of future episodes. Follow us on social media at In the Q Podcast. If you would like to be a guest on our show, or if you have any ideas for a show topic, please email us at hello@intheqpodcast.com. Thank you again, and see y'all next week.